Hey guys, Martin here. I hope you're doing great. Today is a bit special for me because it's the first time I'm sharing with you guys an interview I did with another digital artist. For some context, a few days back, I had the chance to interview Laura. Laura is a digital artist coming from Germany, and you can check her work on Instagram at Dea.Hariasa. It was the first time doing this for Laura and me, so sometimes it can be strange, but please bear with us. At the end, we both had a great experience, and we hope that you're gonna enjoy listening to it. To be honest, I'm already looking forward to doing the next one. Of course, if you have any questions or suggestions, recommendations, please feel free to write them in the comment section. I will answer to everyone. Apart from that, I hope you will learn something new today or at least be inspired by her journey. And I wish you to have a great time. Enjoy!
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I didn't even introduce myself, so I'm not sure if you know me, but my name is Martin, and I've created the page Learn Photoshop like a few years ago now. And actually, it's the first interview I'm doing with someone else, so it can be
The same
a
for
bit
me.
difficult at the beginning. And yeah, now I'm mainly working for customers, doing retouching job. I worked with brands like L'Oreal, Fructis, and I do mainly product retouching. And on my free time, I like to draw a lot and to manage the Learn Photoshop page. I'm also doing some stuff with web design, and I have also a blog for the page. I don't know if you see it.
Yeah, I looked at the website. It's fascinating.
Okay, okay, great. Yep, that was about me. You can
All
tell me.
right, then I'll start. Yes, my name is Laura. I am 31 years old from Germany.
Hmm.
I would call myself a graphic designer, but that's mainly because I studied it. Yeah, I got into Photoshop when I was 13 years old. I still am a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I
Ah,
created my own fan arts with my favorite characters, and I built my own website to then show these fan arts to the world. So I taught myself how to code and how to use photo editing programs. Back then, I used it's called PaintShop Pro 8, so I didn't have enough money to buy Photoshop at the
okay.
time.
Nice. What time it was? Like in which year it was? Like 2000.
Oh, I'm 13, so it was 2004, I think.
Oh, okay, so it was, yeah, like CS3 or something like that. No,
Yeah,
no.
they didn't have the subscription
Yeah.
thing yet. So if you wanted Photoshop, you had to buy the whole program, and it was like
Yeah.
several hundred euros, and that was just way too expensive. So I used something else, which worked just as well.
Yeah, I remember
Um,
I didn't start that early, but I remember the first thing I was doing with Photoshop was these banners you could put on forums and
oh
the
yeah, I
profile
remember
picture
that.
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
the
first thing.
avatars.
Yeah,
Yeah, I spent a lot of hours creating mine as well.
yeah, same. Okay, nice. And you're still a huge fan of this heroic fantasy world, like Lord of the Ring and other.
Yes,
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and anything that is like medieval fantasy. I'm
yeah.
still a huge fan. And after high school, I did a few different jobs, but then I decided to study graphic design because I remembered I really liked coding websites and creating digital art. So I went into that area and just to because in Germany you need like a certificate for anything. If you want to do
Mm,
something, you need like the paper to prove that
yeah.
you're capable of doing it. So I figured I might as well get my bachelor's degree. And yeah, I was still a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so I started to get a little bit into cosplay, and like put on like an elf costume, and I would ask photographers if they could take pictures of me. I would go to Comic Cons and
So you were
other.
doing all the costume yourself, like most of the
Yes, yeah.
cosplayer.
Oh, I wasn't very good at it. I just, I had on a long dress and some elf ears, and that was it. And I just wanted some nice pictures like everyone else. And I had a few good experiences with photographers, but I had two that were really bad, and they
Oh,
were so bad that I decided from now on I'm going to do everything myself.
yeah.
I'm going to take the photos myself. I'm going to edit the photos myself, and that's when I really started to get into Photoshop. Is because I wanted nice pictures, and I thought I studied graphic design. I might as well just try to improve my skills. So I really got into YouTube tutorials. They
Mhm.
basically taught me everything I know today. And over the years, I got better and better. And followers would ask me for advice, or they would ask if I would edit their photos for them. And that's how I started to do it professionally. I thought, well, if I'm good enough that people want me to edit their photos, I might as well take some money for it.
Yeah. And this was mainly from Instagram. So you said
Yes.
you started to do it first for your own because you
Hmm.
wanted to be uh, in full control of the process.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
were,
And I didn't want to have these bad experiences
mm,
anymore. They kind of scarred me.
yeah, yeah, I can guess what kind of like bad experience with. So right at the beginning, you were always posting your content online, like on Instagram.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay.
So I started an Instagram page just for like nature photos, and then I saw all these amazing artists and creations, and started to become inspired by them and influenced by them. So I tried to I tried to join the club, and that's how
Hmm.
it kind of started.
Okay. And you were not discouraged at the beginning because like when you're beginner, if I can say, it's hard sometimes to see all these beautiful artworks online and compare yourself with like people doing this for years.
Oh, it was difficult, and surprisingly, it still is difficult. I mean,
Yeah.
I've much better over the years, and still I see people and they create these amazing things, and
Mm,
I'm to me, it's not a discouragement. It's a, oh, what do I have to do to get to that level? So
mm,
it motivates me to get better.
okay. And yeah, that actually that's great actually because I have a lot of people that get stuck with this kind of issue. Like they're just afraid and they never satisfied with what they're doing. So at
Yeah.
some point they just stop doing it because they're discouraged.
Funny enough, that's how it was for me with drawing, because I
Yeah.
was drawing a lot as a teenager, and I I don't know why, but the improvement didn't happen as fast, or I was always unhappy with my work, and then I just stopped completely, which is really sad because I understand now it's just a matter of practice. Anyone can
Yeah.
get to a certain level if you just keep practicing, and it's the same with Photoshop.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, but that sometimes can be really difficult to keep learning and practicing.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So just I have a quick question. Like you said people were ready to pay for the service you were like to basically edit their photo for them. Uh,
Yeah, it actually started during the pandemic, in
okay.
2020. Um, I I thought, well, I mean, first of all, people couldn't go outside anymore. A lot of things were closed
Mhm.
in Germany, and even if you were a photographer and you wanted to take pictures, I don't know how easy it was or how difficult. So a lot of people then started to take pictures at home so they
Mhm.
could still, continuously post stuff on Instagram. So I thought this is where I could come in and help them edit them. And I figured I'll just give it a try. I already had a good following at the time, and people who were interested in my photos and my skills. So I figured I'll just put myself out there and see if anyone is interested. And surprisingly enough, I actually had a more customers than I thought in the beginning.
Oh, nice.
So that was nice.
And do you think it's mainly thanks to the pandemic, or you still think it would work like uh, without the
Um,
pandemic?
I I think the pandemic helped a lot because
Mhm.
people didn't have any other choice. It's not like they said, "Okay, I'll take a photographer instead who has the whole package, taking
Mhm.
pictures, editing them, the whole thing." So they didn't really have a choice at the
Yeah,
time.
that's true.
I did realize now that the things are open again and there's no lockdowns, that my customer base has shifted. So in the beginning, it was mainly cosplayers and people who did similar things like me. They were interested in the same things and basically my followers. And now that things are open again, I have more customers who send me private photos, like wedding pictures or
Oh, okay.
photos of family, or they want to gift something. They want to gift a photo to someone that I have edited and stuff like that.
But you still you can still choose to apply your own style to the picture, like the own like your heroic fantasy editing, or you sometimes have customer where you just need to like put a smile on a face uh, or just retouch some acne or something like that.
I have both. So I have a lot of children's pictures who want like a unicorn in the background or they want to have fairy wings. That's
Okay.
very fantasy. And then I have a lot of and the other side is like the wedding and the family photos where they just want, nicer skin or the weird guy in the background needs to be edited out and stuff like that.
Okay. And you use mainly your website to build customer, and that's the main tool you use to attract customer?
Right now, it's mainly Instagram. That's where I get most of my customers. But I also have an Etsy shop,
Ah, okay.
and I have a listing up there so people can contact me there as well. I am currently working on building my own website and hoping then I can figure out how Google Analytics and ads work and maybe get more customers that way. And
Okay.
I also thought about signing up for freelance pages like Fiverr. I heard so many bad things about it that I'm still hesitating.
Yeah, and they cut they take a big cut of the sales you
Yes,
make. So yeah.
yeah, I think at least 20%. So
Hmm.
I would have to really up my prices.
Yeah, and you have like a huge competition that have really small prices.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, my old boss loved to use that site and I looked through it and I thought, oh my goodness, those people don't get paid anything.
yeah, how do they eat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's always worth a try like this. You can be sure, and sometimes you get a huge customer base with Fiverr. That's the good point, and
That's true, yeah.
yeah,
So I
and
figured it's worth a try and see how
yeah,
it goes.
yeah. So right now, you said you're mainly getting customer through Instagram, and you never tried Facebook ads.
No, not the ads yet. I am on Facebook and I advert. So when I upload my pictures, I always have like an advertisement in the bottom saying I offer photo editing and find all the information here. But I haven't had anyone from Facebook reach out to me. It's mainly, I think, also because my following on Facebook was quite low. I only started, I think, last year to really use Facebook. I was mainly on Instagram this whole time.
So
But
you mean Facebook on your profile page, or you have a group or something like that?
oh, yeah, I have a like a business page.
Ah, okay.
Um, but I haven't really reached out to like groups and things because I don't know if many groups would appreciate that. But I
Mhm.
thought about going into Facebook and Instagram ads and just seeing if that works. I hesitate because I personally hate ads. I
Yeah.
mainly use those apps on my desktop where I have an ad blocker. So yeah, so I think it might be worth it, but I also think it might piss people off because they just don't want to see ads.
Yeah, but y- you'll never know until you try. So
That's very true,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and I'm just reading again the question we wrote down. So how did you determine your pricing, and how did you started negotiating the price with your customers? It was like natural, or you had to negotiate a lot in the beginning?
Well, since I used to be on the other side, the customer, I had asked like photographers and other artists, and they would have usually like an hourly rate, and they said, I had a few saying, "Oh, it's 40 bucks an hour, and we'll see how long it takes." And I always thought that's not very fair because I don't
Hmm.
know how long they take. They could tell me, "Oh, I need 6 hours," and then I have this huge bill. So I decided from the beginning I'm going to have a set price list. So I have different editing levels, and depending on what you want, it's either level one, which costs X, or it's level two, and it costs a little bit more.
So
And then,
you choose to do that right at the beginning. So you're still
yes,
using this. I saw. So okay,
yeah. So
nice.
I for any other design work, like I also have a few clients where I build websites and logos. That all is based on an hourly rate because I don't like doing that
Yeah.
work. So if I have to do it, they might as well pay me a lot. But when it comes to my editing, I have yes, from the beginning I had a set price list to make it easier for customers, so they knew this is what I have to pay, and it's not going to cost
Mm,
more, and this is what I get for that price.
okay.
Um, so yeah, that way there's no negotiations, and the customer knows exactly what they're getting, and I also know what I don't have to do more work than what they paid for, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great like way of working. But how, for example, how do you deal with revision? Do you ask? Do you offer a revision, or like if the customer wants like a small change once you deliver the first image? Do you offer that, or you just
Yeah,
yeah?
I offer small revisions. So I tell them in the beginning, like when if they want a picture where I remove the background, I tell them that they need to tell me what they want. Let's say they want a dark forest, then I'm not going to give them a different background. So if they want a different one, let's say a castle, then they would have to pay again.
Okay.
So in the price are only small revisions, like they want a different eye color or they want something to be a bit lighter or darker. That's totally fine because that doesn't, that takes me like a minute or two to change. So I have like unlimited tiny revisions, but anything that's big, they need to basically pay for.
Okay.
Or if I have a customer who is absolutely not happy and they're just, nothing works, then I will go outside of the boundaries to offer them either I'll change it, or you can have the next one for half price or something. I try to have a good customer service for those, that are really unhappy. But to avoid that, the good thing is to always ask questions. So even if the customer says, "Oh, I trust you. Just do whatever you want." Don't
Hmm.
believe them. Ask all the questions you can,
Yeah.
because usually they saw something that made them want to hire you.
Yeah.
So yes, so I learned the hard way to really ask all the questions before I start working.
Yeah. What you mean by you learned it by the hard way is you had sometimes really difficult clients or
Yeah.
relations. Yeah. And it was like taking a lot of time and it was never ending well. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one customer and the work was only supposed to be like a 2 hour job, and it ended up to be 9 hours
Oh.
because it was such because they didn't know what they wanted, and then they
Mm.
weren't happy with this, and they were throwing a huge fit out of nowhere, and I just was trying to save the whole experience for them. So I thought to myself,
Mhm.
I'm not doing this again. Next time when they tell me, "Oh, just do whatever you want," never believe them.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I think it's part of the job. Like, you need to guide the client to better understand what he wants, and
Yes, definitely.
it will make everything easier for both of you. So you gonna have a straight direction to where you need to go with the design, and
Hmm.
he's gonna be happy because he knows that you are on the same line and that the result's gonna be what he likes actually at the end. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it takes time to first, because everyone has a different way of expression. So sometimes
Hmm.
you understand something else, and it takes a lot of time, I think, and experience to really understand quickly what customers want. Yeah.
Yeah, I often ask them if they have like a reference photo or
Hmm.
something that they saw that they really like. They can always send it to me so I have a better understanding, like a visual understanding.
Hmm. Yeah. And you send reference from your past work or from other artists you found.
Um, Both sometimes. So if they explain something to me and I'm not quite sure, I either look it up or I send them something that I've done in the past. Not to copy other artists' work, but just to understand the client better. So
Hmm.
there's one artist that this one person liked, and she sent me the her work, not so I could copy it, but to understand like this is the type of
Mm.
colors she wanted and the type of effects, and that worked out quite well actually.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's really important. And um, so you like at the moment you are 100% dedicated to this side of your job, or it's taking like 50% and the other 50%, for example, is your graphic design activity like web design and are you
What
doing anything else?
it's I would say right at the moment it's like a 40% part of my job. The other 60% isn't necessarily other graphic design work, but I have an Etsy shop where I offer artworks and jewelry, so that's also a big part of my job.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's I would say 40% would cover it.
And you would like to be more than 40%, or you're happy with how it goes right now?
I'm actually happy with it because I like to be creative, and at the moment it doesn't matter to me whether it's creating jewelry or creating artwork or editing someone else's photos. I just like to be creative, and whichever direction that takes me, I'm good with it.
Okay, nice. So you have your own business, register business, and you build customer like a real enterprise.
Yes,
Mhm.
I when I started this, I had a full-time job, and I've only quit my job in October last year. I mean I did it not because I was making enough money just with Photoshop alone. I decided I was done with the other job and life is short and I want to just focus on things that make me happy and just take a risk. So it's not like I took the safe route and then all of a sudden I had enough money. I just yeah, just took a leap and I hope it works out.
You made the jump.
Yes.
Yeah. And how is it going so far? Is it going well, or you need to find new way to earn money?
It's going actually quite well. Thanks. I mean, so I started to focus all my attention on my own business in October, which was right in tune with the Christmas season, and that's always the best season. That's usually when I get all the customers who want gifts for others. So January is surprisingly going well as well. I don't know
Nice.
if it's maybe because of Valentine's Day coming up.
Ah.
But yeah, I'm aware that in the summer is usually when I have the lowest or the lowest income or not that many customers. Like winter season is usually the best time.
Mhm.
So I right now it's going quite well. I also have to say I live with someone else, so they're paying half of the bills. I
Yeah.
think if I lived by myself, I wouldn't be able to just do this. I would still have to have a side job.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm in a very lucky position, so I figured I might as well give it a try.
Mm, yeah, I understand. It was exactly the same for me at the beginning when I made the jump. I had the chance to have someone else that could help with paying the bills and everything
Yeah.
until the business activity got better. So yeah, it
Hmm.
definitely helps. And what is your like when you decided to quit your old job, you decided to do it because you wanted more independency, or how do you say it in English? You wanted to be more free of your time and choose whatever you want to do if you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
do
more independent.
independent.
Yes, definitely. I didn't hate my job, but it wasn't fulfilling. Often I just sat at my desk and I thought to myself, what am I doing here? I'm just wasting my time. And yeah, it didn't make me happy. And the pandemic kind of showed me that you
Mm,
never know what's going to happen. And life is way shorter than we think. And I wanted to do something that makes me happy. And my own work has always made me way happier. And I have to admit, since October, I've been it's the happiest I've ever been, if
mm,
I'm honest. And I love what I do and I love the feedback I get and I love putting all my time and motivation into it. I feel like um my editing work has gotten better because I have more time now. I don't have to do it in between weekends when I'm
mm.
tired already. I can now take my time and I bought it's the first time I'm working with a graphic tablet. So before
Okay.
I always used my mouse, and now that I have an actual pen, it's so much nicer and it's a lot of fun to learn how to get better with it.
Yeah, it's completely different from the mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps a lot for painting and doing selection and everything. It's a lot more
Yeah,
easier.
and the detail work is much
Mm,
nicer now.
yeah. Uh, and if you had like to give some advice for someone that is in the same position you were 1 year ago, like someone that is hesitating to quit his job or her job and to move out, like to do the big jump.
Well, I do think that you should make sure you can somehow pay the bills. So whether you have someone you live with who pays it, or maybe you get support from your parents or other family members, or maybe there's a program in your country that supports young people who want to start, or just people. You don't have to be young, but just people who want to start out. I would research all of that first, because at the end of the month, you still have to pay for a home, and you still have to pay for food and hopefully health insurance.
Mhm.
So once, if those basics are covered, I would just do it. Like right now, I don't have enough money to go on vacation or to go out to eat every week or something. But to me, that isn't important. I just want to have the time and energy to put it all into my own business. That's enough for me. So it really depends on what kind of person you are.
Mhm.
If you're the type who wants to buy the new iPhone every time it comes out, then you need to have more resources, maybe.
Mhm.
You lose a few things, but you win a lot of things as well.
Yeah, I think the only fact that you feel so more fulfilled, like whatever you put out there, you made it. Whatever money you make, you made it. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, it's such a big satisfaction to see the business growing and to see everything you're doing. So yeah, I guess a new iPhone every year is nice, but it's nice for 5 minutes and then it's the same
Yeah.
iPhone. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. And my friend actually said what I'm doing right now is reverse shopping. So instead of buying something and being happy, someone buys something from me and it
Yeah,
makes me happy.
I I never heard that one. Yeah, it's quite nice. Mm. Yeah, and like, how do you see like yourself in 2 or 3 years if you already know or set goals or anything?
Um, I have a few goals that I want to. So right now I offer like three editing packages, and I want to offer more. So I want to get into more animal editing. I tried a few things. I have a cat, so I tried to edit her into like a fantasy setting, and I thought if that works, I could offer it to other people who have pets and maybe want a nice portrait of their pet as Queen Victoria or something. So I want to go more into the private picture base basically, and I mean, right now I'm just seeing where it goes. I don't really have that many plans. I just yeah, I realized that ads play a big role. I started using ads on Etsy, and it brought me a lot of customers in. So I'm thinking, okay, I probably need to start using ads on social media and also on Google, and then just see how that goes.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think most of the people doing the same thing as you do use a lot of ads, and they
Yeah, I
bring.
think so too.
Yeah, I see so many artists pushing their services on Facebook ads, like I see a lot every day. And I think it's great if you are doing well without ads, actually. And it can be difficult to use ad because you have to pay money, and if you don't know how to use it, you're gonna spend a lot of money for nothing. But,
Yeah.
but you can find people, I think, that could help you, and that will definitely bring the more customers. Mm.
I think so too. I thought I'll just, I can start slow with like, I don't know, $5 or $10 a month, and then just see how it goes. And if it doesn't work at all, I haven't lost as much money.
Yeah, true.
But I also think there's probably tutorials somewhere on the topic. I just need to find them and watch them.
Oh yeah, talking about tutorial, do you still try to learn new thing on a regular basis, or you just learn whenever you need to learn a new skills? Or
No, whenever I have time, so whenever I don't have that many commissions, I definitely try to improve my skills. So I will look at what other artists do and then see if I can either recreate it for myself, or I'm gonna look up a specific topic or a specific effect and just try to recreate it. I always try to get better because I realize it's a lot of fun for me. Like
Mm.
I'm usually the person that if I'm mediocre at it, that's good enough for me, and then I move on to the next thing. And photo editing is the only thing that I really I want to be not the best, but one of the best would be nice.
You want to be better than yesterday every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. And have you ever paid for like tutorials or online
Uh,
learning?
no, not yet. There's so many free tutorials on YouTube and so many amazing creators who explain things really well, and I never felt the need like I have to pay for tutorials or courses.
Yeah, true. And like on average, how many hours do you spend like each week working on this activity, on the Photoshop activity?
That's a good question. I have to think. I would say like half of my time. So like if I have a 40-hour week, then 20 hours a week I spend on not only commissions but my own photos and then researching new things and trying to improve my skill.
Okay. And you is there any one point you want to improve in your business or that you are struggling with?
Um, well, I would like more customers. But other than that, I don't think I'm struggling with anything at the moment because my skill is good enough to fulfill all the commissions I have and um to do the things that the customers ask of me. So the improvement is mainly just for me and to offer more things, to just have more um like editing packages I can offer.
Hmm. And do you use other tools or software than Photoshop?
No, I
No.
just use Photoshop.
Like even on the administration side, like billing customer, or do you use?
Oh, uh, no, what I do use is data privacy is a big deal in Germany.
Mm.
Um, like it's when you go to a page and it asks you to accept the cookies, that's the kind of thing. So I have a law firm that keeps my data privacy thing and all the laws up to date, like on my shop as well, because that in I don't know how it is in other countries, but in Germany there's
Yeah.
these law firms that go after small creators and find them because they didn't, follow the rules. And I had a friend who had to pay a lot of money just because she missed something. So I
Oh,
figured I'm gonna pay someone to do all this stuff for me just to make sure I'm on the right side of the law.
oh, I didn't know that about Germany. It's terrible, like to go after the small creators to do that.
Yeah, it's horrible, and they specifically, look on Etsy and target people who
Oh,
haven't filled out the legal requirements, and it's horrible. And yeah, so I found this firm. It's only like 12 euros a month, and I figured, yeah, I'll happily pay that to make sure that I never get targeted by these firms and have this huge
yeah.
fine I gotta pay.
Okay. That's a complete business in Germany. So okay.
Yeah, it's the bureaucracy in Germany is an absolute nightmare, and that's actually one of the advice I feel like it's important to give to someone who wants to start out is to really look at the laws in your country
Hmm.
before you do anything. Are you allowed to have a job besides your main job, and how much taxes would you have to pay, and
Hmm.
and just really look at all the legal stuff and get it out of the way so when you do start, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, true. And nowadays it's so easy to get started, like with all the platform you have, like Fevers and everything. And sometimes you just forget to check the laws in your country.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I mean, Germany is specifically complicated when it comes to that. I don't know if it might be easier somewhere else, but here, unfortunately, it's a big deal. And yeah, depending on what you do, it gets more and more complicated.
Yeah, true. Okay, so is there anything more you'd like to talk about, or you want to maybe tell people where they can see your stuff and how they
Uh,
can connect with you?
Um, or the only other advice I would give is to not use the internet as a free library and to if you use stock photos, make sure you're allowed to use them. Make sure you're allowed to use them commercially if you do get paid for your work. I feel like especially now with AI art,
Yeah.
people are just thinking everything's for free when it isn't. I mean, there's a lot of people who put a lot of time into their work and then don't want it to be used for free. And so I would just give the advice to not use the internet as a free library and to be aware that behind every picture there's someone who created it. Not everyone wants their stuff being used.
Yeah, that's crazy actually. Like you opened a complete subject about AI and all this copyright
Yeah,
stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, for now I think we're still figuring everything out, but
I think so too. Yeah.
it hurts so many artists that got basically ripped off of
Yeah.
because of AI. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it maybe there needs to be like extra laws in place. I don't know, but I think if if those AI computers would only use free stock material, then it could actually be a really nice idea. But yeah,
yeah.
I don't know what has to be done to change it, but I don't think it's very fair right now.
Yeah, I think the main issue is that all this innovative stuff like they're going so fast and that the law is struggling a lot to get like new law at the right time. Like they take
Yes.
years to to put new laws about the subject, and as soon as they put a new law, there is already something new that is doing something different. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
very true.
yeah. But yeah, thanks a lot for your time. Actually, it was really nice to talk with you and learn
Yeah.
everything you do.
Thank
And
you so much as well. This was a huge step out of my comfort zone, actually. So
yeah,
thank you very
same for
much for
me.
being so kind and reaching out. This was a lot of fun.
So I wish you a great day, and maybe we
Yeah,
talk again soon.
yes, I wish you a great day too, and thank you so
Thank you,
much for
Laura. Bye bye. Have a
that. Bye
good day.
bye.
Bye.